There was a time in my life when I believed that if things just got a little easier, I would finally feel okay. If there were fewer pressures, fewer messes, then maybe peace would come back to me. I kept waiting for change to come from the outside. A new opportunity, someone who truly understood me, a quiet miracle that would bring the joy back. But one day, in the silence of my own heart, I realized something gentle. What needed to change was not the world around me, but the way I saw it. It wasn't that I had been living wrong. It was that I had grown so used to enduring that I forgot I had the right to live differently, more gently, more peacefully, and more honestly with myself. There was a time when I didn't believe in the power of a positive mindset. Back then, positivity sounded like an empty phrase, a way of denying how you truly felt. I was tired of hearing things like, "Just think positive and everything will be fine." Because during the most uncertain moments, I didn't need a forced smile. I needed something real to help me not fall apart. It took me years to understand that positivity isn't about denying sadness. It's not about pretending nothing's wrong. It's about learning how to stand again, gently and bravely, even when everything still feels messy. It was the moment I stopped waiting for the right feeling and started choosing the right perspective. Not to fake strength, but to remind myself that I could still keep going, even if all I had was one small step. Every time life seemed to fall apart, I would sink into worry and self-blame. I used to ask, "Why is this happening to me?" Or, "Why does this keep happening?" Until one day, I paused. And instead of asking why, I asked, "Now what?" Just those two words, and everything started to shift. Now what? It didn't erase the pain. It didn't deny the struggle. It was simply a quiet reminder. I still had a choice. I could still do something, even if it was the smallest step. I began to practice that question like a gentle ritual. When I failed, now what? When I felt exhausted, now what? And little by little, it pulled me out of emotional paralysis and helped me return to myself. I used to think I had to be in the right mood to begin, that I needed motivation, inspiration, or some spark of excitement before I could do something kind for myself. But eventually, I realized energy doesn't just arrive. It's created through action. Something as small as clearing a corner of my desk, stepping outside for a short walk, or writing down a few honest thoughts was enough to help me feel like myself again. I didn't need a big breakthrough. I just needed to choose one thing. And from that small choice, energy would begin to build. And the more I moved, the more alive I felt. Not in a rushed or forced way, but in a steady, quiet current, a kind of gentle momentum that I could create from within. I used to believe that I had to wait for joy before I could smile, that I needed peace in my heart before I could live gently. But then, I tried doing the opposite. I smiled first. I chose peace, in the small and quiet ways. A morning without noise, a warm cup of tea by the window, a silent act of forgiveness, just for myself. I began to see beauty in the things I used to overlook, and something unexpected happened. The more softness I carried into the world, the more gently life seemed to respond. Not because everything became perfect, but because I started showing up differently. With gratitude, instead of complaints. With quiet trust, instead of constant doubt. And little by little, life softened with me. I used to hurt myself just by looking at other people. I'd see their success and blame myself. See their happiness and start to doubt my own. See them moving faster and feel like I was falling behind. Until one day, I stopped and asked, why am I letting someone else's journey make me forget the beauty of my own? I no longer measure myself by the pace of anyone else. Instead, I return to this gentle question. Have I grown, even a little, since yesterday? And that is enough. I've learned how to celebrate others, without shrinking myself. To admire someone, without feeling less than. To walk at my own rhythm, and trust that my path is blooming too, just in its own quiet and unique way. To the woman who used to doubt herself, I know how hard you tried. You tried to smile even when your heart was overwhelmed. You tried to please everyone, even when no one truly saw what you needed. You held yourself together in silence, far more than anyone realized. You carried wounds no one could see, and still walked forward, as if you weren't tired at all. Today, I just want to say one thing to you. You don't have to be perfect to be loved. You don't have to prove anything anymore. The fact that you're still here, still choosing kindness, still refusing to give up, that alone is extraordinary. And on the days when you feel fragile, please don't forget, we've made it through so much already, and we'll keep going, one step at a time, softly, steadily, and with grace. I used to think I needed a big opportunity, some kind of change from the outside, to start over. But eventually, I understood. You don't have to wait for a miracle. You only need one small choice, from within, to believe again. You are the one holding the wheel. And no matter where you are today, no matter how messy things may feel, in this very moment, you can begin again. You don't need everything to be perfect. You don't need anyone's permission. Just one deep breath, one gentle thought, one honest step in your own direction. And that's enough to begin a whole new journey, from the inside, steady and full of light. No one ever really teaches us how to begin again, especially after the quiet wounds, the ones we carry alone. But maybe we don't need a perfect plan. We don't need the right time. Maybe all we need is to not give up on ourselves. Because everything we've been searching for, peace, strength, love, it doesn't start out there. It begins within, in the way we choose to live, gently, kindly, and truthfully, each and every day. If something in this story spoke to your heart, let it be a small pause, a breath, a soft reminder to be more loving with yourself. And if you're on your own path of healing, please remember, you are not alone. Heart of Calm will always be here, a quiet corner of the world, where you are welcome, just as you are. We'll see you in the next video. No pressure, no pretending. Just a safe return to the you that's always been waiting.